Hello, my name is Jessica Naird, and I live in Denton, Texas. I am a graduate of the University of North Texas with a master's degree in rehabilitation counseling. I currently work for the state as a transition vocational rehabilitation counselor, helping high school students with disabilities plan for their transition out of high school. I absolutely love my job, in addition to many other parts of my life. I am a daughter, a sister, a girlfriend to an amazing guy, a best friend to several beautiful people. I am a leader, an advocate. I am a lover of absolutely all things technology. I am a fast talker and a ball of energy. I am an active community member, and I love all animals. I'm a crime show fanatic. I love eating sushi, trying anything chocolate, traveling, spending hours on Facebook, going out with friends, and just having fun. Oh, and I am also blind and a guide dog handler. I say that nonchalantly because blindness is only one of my many characteristics. It does not define me. I have supported Foundation Fighting Blindness, FFB, for several years in their fundraising efforts through co-captaining vision walk teams and widely sharing information about the research FFB is doing for the prevention, treatment, and cure of retinal degenerative diseases such as RP. I fully support Foundation Fighting Blindness's research efforts, but absolutely cannot support their How I See It campaign. This campaign is very dangerous on so many levels. It is dangerous for the sighted people who are participating in the campaign, who are doing tasks blindfolded, some simple, some more complex, without the training and skills necessary to complete it safely and effectively. It is also dangerous for the blind people who are going to have to live with the misperceptions that each and every one of these videos and campaign posts puts in the minds of our community. The problem is, nobody can see things how I see it. Putting on a blindfold for any length of time will not accurately help you see how I see and experience the world. Over the past many years, as my vision loss has progressed, I have worked very hard with my orientation and mobility instructor to learn how to safely travel without depending on the vision I once had. I have worked hard with an independent living skills instructor to learn adaptive techniques and how to use specialized equipment to live independently. I have worked extremely hard with an assistive technology trainer to learn how to use a computer and other pieces of technology without vision, how to access printed material without sight, and access the world largely now through technology and with the use of my other senses, and not necessarily through sight anymore. I have had several discussions with a counselor to learn about adjusting to blindness. All of this specialized training and instruction to learn how to cope with my vision loss and continue to do the things that I want to do and live my life. I'm human, so I do get frustrated sometimes, but nothing compares to the frustration that sighted people have experienced when they put on that blindfold and they attempt to perform a daily task without all the training that I just experienced and discussed. But here's the thing, that frustration isn't just frustration. That frustration leads to society pitying blind people because of how hard it's perceived they have to work to complete certain tasks, and that leads to a deep fear of blindness. One of the videos that hit really close to home for me that was produced by the How I See It campaign was their video that described what it would be like for someone with a visual impairment to parent a child. This parent and her child were on a playground. This video implied that the blind parent cannot experience parenting or are robbed of the joys of parenting simply because they are blind. This is so far from the truth. As I mentioned earlier, I am a best friend to several people, one of whom is Misty Allen. Misty and I co-captained the Vision Walk team for Foundation Fighting Blindness together for several years. Misty is also blind due to retinitis pigmentosa, RP, the same disease that I have. She is an absolutely incredible mother to two beautiful teenagers. I have had the opportunity to watch her parent and these kids grow up over the past several years, and it has been an absolute joy to see them grow up. It is true that Misty was not able to sit on a bench as the person in the video did and watch her children play in the traditional way that parents often do. Many parents talk on their phones, respond to emails, or play on Facebook while casually looking up at their children. No. Misty ended up having much more fulfilling interactions with her children. She has shared that they would go to the playground together, and her children would involve her in whatever they were doing. They were always so excited to share their secret universes with her, and she tells of how their exhilaration for life was contagious. I am going to read to you more of one of her texts to me about her wonderful kids. And I quote, I feel like they gave me such a greater appreciation for who they are, what they are interested in, and who they are growing up to be. There was never a time that I didn't cry when I went to see my son perform in band or theater. His charisma, intelligence, and empathy have made him a privilege to know as a young man. I have not needed to be able to see in order to enjoy my daughter's artistic talents. Her ability to write, draw, and create uniquely aesthetic fashion choices has always astounded me. What I could not see visually, she found ways to share with me alternatively, such as through description verbally or touch. In further discussing being a blind mother, she also said, the most difficult thing about being a mother with a visual disability was that there was no one around to tell me that it was possible to be a good mother. I believe that because many people do not understand that it is possible, little attention is paid to what education could be provided to parents who are blind. Advertisements that focus on limitations rather than creative ways in which we can work around restrictions will only add to this problem. Many blind parents have told me stories of their experience or others' experiences where they are told by social services staff, legal counsel, and judicial authorities that they cannot possibly be a good parent simply because they're blind, or they're also told not to fight for child custody because they will automatically be denied based on only their blindness. What? That's just insane. And where are these people getting these kinds of ideas? I know where. Exactly the kinds of videos that How I See It campaign is putting out. That's ridiculous. That needs to stop. Misty is a beautiful mother, and her children are absolutely amazing. The videos that Foundation Fighting Blindness are putting out, especially the one on parenting, are exactly what Misty described. They focus on limitations rather than creative ways we can work around restrictions. I want to show you a picture of Misty and her two children. They are absolutely beautiful, and they're wonderful kids, and she is a great blind parent. As I mentioned earlier, as a vocational rehabilitation counselor, my job is to help individuals with disabilities obtain and maintain employment, as well as figure out all the other necessary factors in their transition out of high school. As such, I work with a lot of employers to help them see how individuals with disabilities are a huge asset to companies, and I'll also highlight my consumer strengths and abilities in the process. I want to share a fun fact with you. Well, not such a fun fact. Did you know that the unemployment rate for people with visual impairments is 60% or greater? How insane is that? The next person that views one of these videos from the How I See It campaign might be a hiring manager for a major corporation or of a small business, and that blind person that walks through that door to apply and interview for that position might be a huge asset to that company, but they might not be given that chance only because of their blindness and the misperceptions that that hiring manager has because of their blindness that come from these kinds of campaign videos. Foundation Fighting Blindness is actively working against individuals with disabilities, not with them. In addition to speaking up against the How I See It campaign, many have asked Foundation Fighting Blindness to make their videos and images accessible to all through captioning and video and image descriptions. They only started doing the descriptions this week, and the descriptions have a lot left to be desired. Many of their videos aren't captioned, and some of the videos that are have captions at the start, but not all the way through the end. That's basically saying a person with a hearing loss has the right to see the beginning of the video and understand the beginning, but not the end. Huh? In many communities, not only communities of people with disabilities, there is a phrase, do it with us, not for us. FFB's fundraising efforts could really take this to heart. Campaigns would be so much stronger if they employed individuals with blindness and worked with us in designing their campaigns. I have started to correspond with Foundation Fighting Blindness and am very surprised and appreciative that they have replied to me. Unfortunately, They aren't truly listening to the concerns. Rhea Farberman, the Senior Director of Communications and Marketing for FFB, wrote me that their intention, and I quote, for this campaign was to raise awareness of retinal disease by celebrating the resilience and mastery of people who are affected by retinal diseases. However, in reality, the intention for the campaign and the reality of the effects of the campaign are on opposite ends of the spectrum. Do you remember in school growing up when you would say something and your parent or teacher would get on to you for saying it because it hurt somebody else? You would say, but mom, I didn't mean to, and you would then be told that it didn't necessarily matter if you meant to do it or not. It did hurt that person, and you needed to apologize and not do it again. I feel like that's where we're at with this campaign. FFB didn't mean to hurt us, supposedly, but they so deeply did, and it's now time that they apologize and redirect their efforts. It is really hard to imagine what living with retinitis pigmentosa is like. One time at work, blindness professionals, one of whom was blind herself, came in and did a blindness simulation for our office where a group tried on different types of goggles for a few minutes to get a small glimpse of what it is like to live with different eye conditions. This helped some understand why moving items in the work refrigerator caused issue for me, or why taking scissors from my supply holder and then returning them to another part of my desk was problematic. It was effective in that way, but what they didn't do that the Foundation Fighting Blindness is doing is go throughout a whole day or a whole long activity with those goggles on with no appropriate feedback from individuals with visual impairments. The simulation that we did at work was a very controlled setting with individuals leading it who did have visual impairments, and they helped the participants come away with a very positive message about how to work with people with individual impairments, and they didn't come away with a message of fear and pity. That's what the How I See It campaign is doing, however. There has actually been research that has been completed about blindness simulations that show that they aren't effective and they are actually more harmful than good. I'll post a link in the description of this video for you guys to see about that as well. This campaign is all about seeing things the way someone with a visual impairment would see it. But really, the most effective way to get a glimpse into the life of someone with a visual impairment and how they live their lives, non-visually, is to listen to them and to learn from them, not to mock them. If you know me, you know I absolutely love life. I live the life I want. I invite you to view the following pictures and see my life as someone with a visual impairment. This is a picture from many years ago of my family before my father passed away. This is a picture of when I took my great Aunt Betty out for ice cream. This is one of my favorite pictures. It is at one of my graduation dinners with my grandparents, who I love very, very much and have since passed away, and my best friend, Lydia. This is also at one of my graduation dinners, and it is one of my other best friends, Elizabeth Magalinden. Here I am, standing in my office at work, smiling intently at my guide dog, Makiko, who is staring intently back at me. Here I am with my very handsome boyfriend at North Park Mall. This is at my master's graduation right before I crossed the stage with myself and my guide dog Makiko, both in graduation cap and gowns. Finally, this is a picture of my boyfriend Steven and I adaptive skiing in Colorado. If you know me, you also know that I'm a very open person about much of my life, especially my blindness. Please ask me if you would like to know anything about my blindness. I would very much like to share it with you. I love my life, I am proud of who I am, and that includes my blindness. I actively work alongside many blind and sighted individuals alike to combat the stigma and negative misperceptions about blind people and their abilities. This includes speaking out about this campaign. I urge my fellow blind peers to continue to speak out about this campaign. I encourage my sighted peers to continue to ask questions and learn from blind people, like me, and not participate in the How I See It campaign. Thank you.